It's a beautiful night for baseball. And live from Miller Park in Milwaukee, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers in the first of a 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. We are loaded with news, good news and bad news. Good news is, from the Dodger point of view, Adrian Gonzalez named the Player of the Month in the National League. Alex Guerrero named the Rookie of the Month in the National League. Now to the bad news. Hyun-Jin Ryu's been placed on the 60-day disabled list. The left shoulder appears not to be getting any better anytime soon. Ron Renneke here in Milwaukee was fired. He was replaced by Craig Counsell. For Counsell, some good news and some bad news. He gets his first job. The bad news is he has to face Clayton Kershaw tonight.
Yeah, and Clayton Kershaw is starting to get on track. The 27-year-old, 46 days, trying to be the second youngest to win 100 games. That other number one guy is Felix Hernandez, but Clayton is close on his heels. You can see Clayton start this year 1-2 with a 3.73. Is not his typical start, of course, but he is very good here at Miller Park, and his pitches are starting to come along, Charlie. When he is two pitchers in one body, which is the high fastball curveball pitcher or the low fastball slider pitcher, I think the consistent place is the low fastball slider guy, and I think that's why he's off to a slow start. He's had trouble keeping the fastball down, getting in his lanes, and then finishing off that slider. But when you see the combination of those low fastballs and then that slider, that's when Clayton is most consistent and most dominant.
And we mentioned Adrian Gonzalez and Alex Guerrero at the top. Adrian is merely in the top 5 in almost everything. Batting average, home runs, RBIs, hits, runs, scored, total bases.
I mean, you always say that about Adrian Gonzalez. He finishes in that area all the time.
And Alex Guerrero had an unconscious first month.
He has. And I'll tell you, starting with Adrian Gonzalez, I mean, NL Player of the Month. He's off to a great start and already a brilliant career. It seems like he's hitting everything. If they come with a fastball in the inner half, he's turning on it. He's also not afraid to go the other way when they try to go away from his power. Adrian Gonzalez is hitting in the middle of the lineup, and he's one of the big reasons why the Dodgers are sitting in first place in the NL. And then when we talk about rookies and Rookie of the Month, people might think it might Jock Peterson, but Alex Guerrero, what a month. He has 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, and get this, in only 26 at-bats, and he does it great off the bench. He comes up with walk-off hits, his pinch hits. He's 4 for 8 as a pinch hitter with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
So, as we told you, also at the top, Ron Renneke was fired today. You know, he broke in with the Dodgers back in 1981. He has been replaced by Craig Counsell. For Counsell, this is his first managerial day. For Renneke, in 5 years in Milwaukee, he had a slightly winning record, 95 wins in 2011. Really came undone the last month of last year, and the Brewers really fell apart the first month of this year. So the Dodgers red hot coming into this first of the 4-game series. They've won 4 straight, 7 of their last 9. Clayton Kershaw goes tonight, back with the lineups in first pitch right after this. EPA estimated 30 highway. There we are. Hello. Now. With an EPA estimated 30 highway MPG, this car was made for driving in California. Visit Dodge.com today. So the Dodgers take their act on the road. At home, there's been nobody better than the Dodgers, 13-2. This will be their 10th game away from Dodger Stadium, 3 up and 6 down. And tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel, der fun since '61. And Don Mattingly with his first place club, 3 games in front of the Padres, beginning this 4-game set here in Milwaukee. Here's the lineup he put together with Jock Peterson and Jimmy Rollins and Howie Kendrick. Adrian Gonzalez, a player of the month in April in the cleanup spot. Van Slyke in left, Ethier in right. Yasmani Grandal, the walk-off home run hitting hero yesterday. Juan Uribe at third base. Clayton Kershaw pitching and batting ninth, and they're going to be facing 36-year-old Kyle Lohse.
Well, Kyle Lohse features a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. That fastball hovers around 90 miles an hour. I mean, he really mixes all his pitches. He predominantly lower than 50% with that fastball. But I'll tell you, in the first inning, his ERA is 14 this season. So let's see if the Dodgers can jump on him early.
Jock Peterson leading it off. First pitch is a call strike, and it's 0-1. It's 57 degrees outside. The roof is closed here at Miller Park, which first opened for business in 2001. The Brewers, of course, struggling badly. 7-18, made the managerial change prior to the game today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Craig Counsell managing his first game as a Brewer. There's a fly ball to right field. It is way back, and just like that, the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Jock Peterson's 7th home run of the year. Nomar said that Losche's ERA in the first inning was something over 14. Well, the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead, 2 pitches in, make it 3.
Well, the great thing for Jock, yeah, he's hot. Yeah, he's got the power stroke working, but now we're starting him to stay back on breaking balls. Off-speed pitches that he is now hammering instead of swinging and missing it.
I mean, we were talking about his high leg kick going into spring training and how you can have a tendency to drift a little bit and be off balance on breaking balls, but he has figured it out. He is staying back. He is driving it. I think he was upset that his home run streak ended yesterday, so he wanted to start a new one. So good job, Jock, jumping on that pitch.
7 home runs, 16 runs batted in. And a foul off to the left and out of play, and it's no balls and a strike.
It almost seemed like a little bit of veteran advice that Jock was putting to use there, the way somebody like Lohse would pitch Adrian Gonzalez, and Adrian would be one to say, he's going to throw me some changeups, I'll sit on it. Jock was absolutely ready for it.
So Peterson with 7 home runs Adrian Gonzalez leads the National League with 8. So the Dodger leadoff hitter is second in the league in home runs. Jimmy Rollins off to a slow start, and on 1-2 he is down swinging. Defensively for the Brewers tonight, Ramirez at third with Segura injured. Is Hector Gomez at short. Elian Herrera, one-time Dodger, at second base, and Jason Rogers at first. Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield, and Martin Maldonado is behind the plate, and a call strike to Howie Kendrick, and it's 0-1.
Before the game, I was talking to Jock Peterson. He came out during the Brewers batting practice, and he asked me, he goes, "How's the ball carry here?" I said, "I think you'll like it." So
that didn't
Try
take
it,
long.
you'll like it. He tried it, he liked it, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Kyle Loesch this year has now given up 9 earned runs in 5 1/3 first innings. 0-2 to Kendrick. Last year, the Brewers took the Dodgers 5 out of 6. Beat the Dodgers all 3 games at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers were 1-2 here. And dating back to 2011, the Dodgers are 8-17 against Milwaukee.
Anything to that batter's eye, Nomar, for guys picking up the ball right now with that sun hitting it?
Not too bad, because you see so much of the field is covered in the same shadow, and it's not super bright. And the one thing about the batter's eye, it is big, so that is one thing where it helps it out. But obviously, it's always better where it's just all one color and a lot easier. But there are definitely other times, especially here at this ballpark, the day game, where you have bright sun. The day game is really difficult because that shadow is in a different place in this field.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Howie Kendrick. Howie with 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. And he's been a great clutch hitter since coming to the Dodgers, hitting .450 with runners in scoring position. But he's down on strikes. There's 2 out.
I saw the last 2 strikeouts by Loesch. A fastball away to Jimmy Rollins got him to chase off the plate, and then chasing right there, Howie Kendrick. You need to get Loesch to throw strikes because his stuff is really devastating if you start chasing. He's very much a master at doing that.
So there's your National League Player of the Month. Adrian Gonzalez, 4th in the league in average, 3rd in hits, 1st in home runs, 4th in RBIs, 4th in runs scored, 3rd with 20 runs scored.
That's all.
That's all. And the Dodgers' Alex Guerrero, the National League Rookie of the Month. And there's a strike to Gonzalez. It's 1-1. Brewers playing the shift. The outfield is straight away. Davis, Gomez, and Braun from left to right.
And there's probably some Dodger fans at home thinking, you know, how about Jock Peterson? Didn't he get considered for that award like I thought when I heard Alex was announced? But Jock has comparable statistics, but in half the at-bats Guerrero did it in.
Guerrero's numbers were just silly.
Oh, well, Jock still has, he has May. He's off to a good start already. So
Yasiel won it as a rookie 1 month. Now Guerrero, and Jock's got to catch him.
Guerrero in 33 at-bats has knocked in 13 runs as Gonzalez fouls it off to the left.
This is a very comfortable at-bat for Adrian. He really pretty much knows that Loesch cannot beat him inside with a fastball, and so he is doing a good job just staying back on any of the off-speed pitches, and I'm sure he'll just protect away if it's hard.
2-2 to Gonzalez, 1-0 on the Peterson home run, and the count now is full. Van Slyke on deck. Just what the Dodgers needed, another bullpen performer. Daniel Colomé called up today. 3-2 to Gonzalez. Stays alive. Dodgers have 9 in the bullpen. Hatcher, Garcia, Baez, Nicasio, Santos, Libator, Howell, Rodriguez, and Colon. 5 righties, 4 lefties.
If Clayton wasn't pitching, we could have a bullpen day. Nobody'd have to go more than an inning.
And none of them good a chance as any not have to go any innings tonight, as Gonzalez works out the 2-out walk. That'll bring up Scott Van Slyke, who didn't have a bad April either. Loesch has struggled, not Van Slyke. 382 with a home run and 9 runs batted in, at a .450 on base percentage. Dodgers entered the game having won 4 in a row, 7 of their last 9, while Milwaukee has won 2 in a row. First time they've had a 2-game winning streak all year. They're at 7-18 and trailing first place St. Louis in the Central Division by 11.5. A Peterson home run to begin the game, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead as Van Slyke takes low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a good matchup for Scott. Loesch doesn't possess really the big right-handed breaking ball, like a big curveball that would make him flinch. So when you're used to hitting off of lefties most of your at-bats, having the shorter, smaller breaking ball from a righty, a little more comfortable.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Van Slyke. Andre Ethier is on deck. The veteran Jerry Meals, the crew chief, calling balls and strikes tonight. Loesch on 1 and 2. Just outside. And it's 2 and 2.
It's a good take by Scott Van Slyke. Very difficult to lay off of that pitch because that started off in the strike zone. He had a very tight break to it as well, but he was able to recognize it and lay off of it.
Now the 2-2. Just outside, 3 and 2.
You know, 2 pitches ago when the fastball away was called for a strike, Scott turned around and talked to Jerry Meals like, you know, that seems like it's all the way out there. And Jerry might have said, you know what, that's as far as I'm going. And Scott now has that laser eye out there on that outside corner, not chasing anything, just off the edge.
First time Van Slyke has ever faced Loesch. And on 3 and 2. Drills it to left. Having trouble with the sun, but making the play is Chris Davis. Just a spot of sun on the field, and that was where Davis was able to make the play. But Jock Peterson on the 3rd pitch of the game cracks his 7th home run of the year. And the Dodgers give Kershaw an early lead. The first lineup he has constructed for the Milwaukee Brewers, and this is the Honda starting lineup. Beginning with Carlos Gomez. Jason Rogers bats second at first, and Ryan Braun is hitting just .229. Aramis Ramirez not doing much better. 233. Chris Davis in left. Martin Maldonado is the catcher. Lucroy still on the DL. Elian Herrera, the former Dodger, at second. Hector Gomez at shortstop. Kyle Loesch pitching and batting ninth against the incomparable Clayton Kershaw, making his 6th start of the year. His first pitch is high and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, the big fella on the mound had a good outing against San Francisco, just ran into a better outing from Madison Bumgarner. In that outing against San Francisco, 8 strikeouts, no walks. And he really looked like he was starting to get that laser focus. And I think the key for him today is to get the fastball down by the knees for a strike that will set up the rest of his pitches.
43 strikeouts in 31 innings. And Gomez immediately behind. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gomez 353 in his career against Kershaw. 6 for 17. Well, Kershaw's up to his old tricks as we begin the ball game. Defensively behind Clayton tonight, Van Slyke and Peterson and Ethier in the outfield. The infield round up the usual suspects with Uribe and Rollins and Kendrick and Gonzalez. Yasmani Grandal, the walk-off home run hitting hero yesterday, is behind the plate. Now here's Jason Rogers, of whom much is expected here in Milwaukee, and so far so good. Takes a strike and it's 0-1. Rogers is 7 out of 17. Well, this is one of those turbulent days here in Milwaukee for their beloved Brewers.
With this slider right here, right out of that same window of that fastball down and in that he started him off with. That's a unbelievable combination for Clayton to be consistent.
On 0-2. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ron Renicky fired today. The Brewers weren't going anywhere. Beginning the night 11.5 back. 7 up, 18 down. And there are many reasons. Well, Kershaw struck out the first 2 batters he's faced.
Laura, watching Kershaw right now in the first 2 batters, he has a really sharp breaking ball working for him, and here it is again as he throws it to Rogers and gets him swinging just like he got Carlos Gomez. But as a pitcher, when you know you have that tight break today, do you like to show it early to put it in those batters' heads so they're almost defeated when they go back to the dugout and tell the other guys?
With Clayton stuff you can, because he's got 4 really, really good pitches. You know, with a guy that just had a fastball and a curveball, you might save it for the second time around the order or first time you get in a jam.
Ryan Braun, 229 this year. He's a 313 career hitter. There's a strike. It is 0-1. So Braun at 229 has an on-base percentage of 273. In 9 big league seasons, an on-base percentage of 368. So he's about 100 points below that. And his batting average is about 90 points below his career batting average. Then you throw into the mix that Lucroy's on the disabled list. Carlos Gomez, who had spent a lot of time on the DL, has 11 hits on the year. Lucroy's got nothing. So in the middle of your lineup, is it either not producing or isn't there at all? Little wonder then that the Brewers are already 11 games under 500 and down a manager. Two balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Braun with 5 home runs and 12 runs batted in. Kershaw in search of his 100th career victory.
Clayton thought he had strike 3 there to strike out the sides. Got to come back and fire another one.
And so he does. That'll end the inning. Kershaw strikes out the side. After 1 inning, Kershaw and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead, and it appears as if Kershaw has brought his A game with him tonight. Inning on the year now, 46 strikeouts in 32 innings. Getting Gomez, Rogers, and Braun, all three swinging. Now, Andre Ethier to lead off here in the second. Andre at .321, 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. The Dodgers on the road averaging about 3.5 runs per game, 8 hits. At home, 5.5 runs and almost 9.5 hits. So the Dodgers off to the great home start, 3-6 on the road, the first of a 7-game road trip. Ethier fouls it back, and it's 0-2. So the Dodgers, with the Peterson home run, lead the major leagues now with 39 home runs. The Dodgers this year, when they hit a home run or more, are 14-5. Jock Peterson hit his 7th home run, now has 16 runs batted in. And as Oral suggested, somewhat of a surprise. He was not the National League Rookie of the Month, but Alex Guerrero was. Ethier takes a call, strike 3, and for Loesch, that's his 3rd strikeout. Four hours into the game yesterday, 4 hours and 2 minutes. Contact. And the Dodgers will beat Arizona 1-0. For Grandal, his 2nd home run. Dodgers worked late, arrived late here in Milwaukee. Most of the traveling party probably hit the pillow about 2 o'clock in the morning. The Brewers have the shift on for the switch hitting Grandal, who smacks one into left center field for a base hit. That will be at least a double. Grandal arrives at second base, standing up with his 4th 2-base hit of the year.
You know, Nomar, he is really starting to let the ball get deep. The home run yesterday, opposite field, and now this ball.
You know, Oral, I was just thinking about that he started off a little slow this year, was having some struggles, but when you're driving the ball to that opposite center gap, like that home run, like that we just saw right there, that gives you confidence as a hitter. That also lets his hitting coach, it lets him know that he's right where he needs to be. He's seeing the pitches, he's staying back, and he's driving it.
And Juan Uribe, who's been hitting the ball well the other way to right center. Takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Juan, during this hit streak that he's on, has been swinging the bat better, but he's not Juan hot yet. He's not quite there, but he is starting to feel it.
Hitting .310 during this 12-game hitting streak, but basically it's been a hit a game. Takes outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
It's a great situation, though, to keep Juan in the groove and get him closer to getting super hot, because he's going to want to use the opposite field with the man on second and no out. So it's a second reminder to him on the procedures and processes he should use in going about his business in the box.
For Uribe, the 12-game hitting streak is the longest since coming to the Dodgers. His career high was 17 games 13 years ago. 2-0 with Grandal leading from second. There's a strike.
Yeah, it was one of the pitches he was probably thinking, Ashworth, could that have been a pitch I could have drive the other way? Oftentimes, as a hitter, you fight with yourself going, okay, I got a 2-0 hitter's count. Do I just think about trying to get a ball to drive him in, or do I still stay with my approach and try to move him over?
2-2.
And the other thing, too, with him right now, Juan, is you mentioned it, but batting 8th and you have a pitcher hitting behind you, you're not thinking, okay, just move him over for the pitcher. So you're thinking, I might have to take a chance to really drive him in. Yet, you still know that going to right field is what's been working for you, especially on this current hitting streak. So it's still good to think that way, because worst case scenario, at least moves a runner over.
Elian Herrera shifted towards second, trying to keep Grandal close. Gomez, the shortstop, shaded toward third as Uribe checks his swing, according to first base umpire Paul Emmel.
A breaking ball off the edge of the plate there, and boy, he's lucky to be still in the box.
That's one of those, as a hitter, if they call it, you're like, yeah, okay, I can't argue, and the fact that he did it, and you're like, thank you.
Now he's playing with house money.
Yep.
On 3-2 with 1 out in the second. Left side, Aramis Ramirez. So now there's 2 out, and here comes Clayton Kershaw. 1 out of 9 this year, has only hit a double. First of 4 in Milwaukee, then over the weekend will be in Colorado. Kershaw swings and misses. Clayton hit .175 last year, career .157 hitter with 1 home run. Peterson on deck. Kershaw takes low. Two balls and 1 strike to Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers this year against right-handed pitching 15-6. 2-2. That's about as hard as Loesch can throw.
90-91 right in there. Sometimes he has a little bit more depth with the 2-seamer that he can get some sink.
Grandal still at second after his 1-out double. And Kershaw rolls it to third. Ramirez picks it up and throws him out. No runs, 1 hit. The Yasmani Grandal double. In the second inning, Kershaw will face Ramirez, Chris Davis, and Martin Maldonado. first day on the job. Alana Rizzo downstairs spent a little time with the manager.
All right, guys, thanks very much. As you mentioned, Craig Counsell, the newest member of the Milwaukee Brewers as far as the manager is concerned, and he certainly might be new to the dugout as a manager, but certainly not new to the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin. This is a guy that is certainly beloved, not only here in Wisconsin, guys, but around the league. He became the 19th manager in Brewers history. He played in the show for a long time, 16 major league seasons. You can see the teams he played for. A two-time World Series champion in the 2001 National League Championship Series MVP, and probably one of the most peculiar batting stances you'll ever see, and I'll let Nomar talk about that. But the newest manager for the Brew Crew is right there, guys.
Yeah, I've helped a lot of hitters and talked to hitters about hitting, and I don't think I've ever told any of them to have that setup that he had with that bat way up there. But you know, when it's all said and done, it doesn't matter how you start. It's when you get into that hitting, when the ball's coming, you get your hands ready to let it loose and drive the ball. They all seem to be balanced and in the right spot. And whatever worked for him, he was successful with it.
And he was a tough out.
Yeah.
He was the last guy you wanted to see in a clutch situation.
Gosh, despite where his hands started, despite that peculiar stance, he was able to put the barrel on the ball and fight off good pitches, foul them off.
Aramis Ramirez just 233 this year, and he says this is going to be his final season. 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in.
I never scouted a hitter from his batting stance. I only scouted him when his front foot hit.
It's a good place to scout him.
Right when their front foot hits, that's when they're going to launch the bat.
The 1-1 fouled off to the right.
You think about Julio Franco, you know, the bat way up and the tilted back, pointing the barrel at the pitcher. You think about even, you know, Ted Williams. Go back that far. Some other unbelievable stances. Craig is right up there with one of the top 10 awkward, unique stances that played in the big leagues.
On 1-2, Ramirez is done. So Kershaw has faced 4 batters now, and he's struck out all of them.
I thought Ramirez was working on being done twice, once on a strikeout and being kicked out of the game, but he gave it up.
And what he's just asking is he's just asking for him to have help. And a lot of times as a hitter, because you think it looks like he may have held up, and when you believe you did, you're just saying, just ask. He has a better angle at first base, umpire. And if he calls me out, okay, 1, I won't argue with you. But 2, I just feel more comfortable because he seems to have a better angle.
I thought it was a good call.
Now Chris Davis swings and misses.
You're a pitcher.
Davis hasn't hit much. Cal State Fullerton. Martin Maldonado is on deck. And the 0-1 is a fastball down and away at 94. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Overall, for Clayton Kershaw, this was a good day to come in here. He's undefeated at Miller Park. The Brewers fire their manager. The Brewers are hitting 182 against lefties this year.
Jimmy Rollins has an easy hop. 2 out.
And it's taken him 5 hitters to make contact off him. The first out in the field he's had.
Kershaw at Miller Park, 4-0 and an 0.87 ERA. 3 earned runs in 31 innings. And the Brewers are 0-3 against left-handed starters this year, and collectively as a team they're hitting 182. So all the numbers are pointing in Kershaw in the Dodgers' direction. The Dodgers having won 4 in a row and 7 of 9. And they've got their ace out there to make matters worse for the struggling Brewers. Greinke goes tomorrow. 2 out, nobody on in the second.
You know, there are times when we've seen it where a manager may get let go in the middle of a season and they get a new manager, and that's when the team seems to start playing well all of a sudden or win that game. There's just a different look or different feel for whatever reason, and oftentimes it's not just because of the manager. It just happens.
In the hole, look at Jimmy Rollins get up and throw him out. Oh, Jimmy Rollins, 1 knee on the grass, One hop to Gonzalez. Beautiful play. Maldonado is robbed, and the Dodgers and Kershaw lead it 1-0 as we go to the third. He has struck out 4, and not the prototypical leadoff hitter, Jock Peterson, who cranked his 7th home run of the season in his first at bat. Not a lot of singles out of your stereotypical leadoff hitter, but there's nothing stereotypical about Jock Peterson. He takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, last year for a time, Yasiel Puig was at the top of the lineup. Rollins, leadoff hitter, good portion of the season to this point, but Jimmy's been struggling, and Peterson takes inside 1-1.
Jimmy might be struggling with the bat, but after that play defensively, he's not struggling with the glove.
Robbing Maldonado of a hit.
Oftentimes, a good play like that can carry into your offense as well. You're feeling good, saying, okay, I'm helping the team. I may not be swinging it the way I want to, but I'm helping it in other ways.
Nothing but big rips out of Jock Peterson.
You know, and when a power hitter comes from the minor leagues, a lot of times the power is the last thing to come when they get back up here to the big leagues, because they have to learn how pitchers are going to pitch them before they start cutting their swings loose. They try and really just make contact and stay on the ball, but his power has come very early. Remember, big Jim Thome came to the big leagues and was always hitting the ball the opposite field, just getting base hits, and just slowly but surely, Charlie Manuel was his hitting coach, got him to open up his swing and start pulling the ball in certain counts, and all of a sudden Jim Thome became the home run hitter that we all know.
Those great Indians teams in the mid-90s.
Nomar, you came to the big leagues, though, straight with your power. Wasn't your first hit
It was.
A perfectly positioned shift. Peterson is retired, 1 out and nobody on in the third.
First hit was a home run, huh?
It was a home run, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
How many home runs did you have your first year?
Well, I came up in that September, so I had that. But my first full season, I had 30.
30, wow.
Yeah. I was lucky. I had a great veteran ball club, and I had a lot of guys who taught me an awful lot about the game. So I was very fortunate. And one of those guys actually in the coaching staff here, and John Valentin with the Dodgers.
Jimmy Rollins, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. Peterson's home run in the first. The only run of the game. Rollins shatters the bat and quickly retired.
was off the end of the bat, and that is a complete shatter. I mean, that went all the way along the bat. Those are ones as a hitter you're going, okay, I know I mishit it off the end. I'm going, was there maybe a crack in there before that created that kind of break?
Or was that bat dried out?
Yeah, too. Either way, you're mad because you hit it improperly.
Kendrick struck out in the first. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. And he takes high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Gonzalez on deck. First of this 4-game series, Kendrick went around.
We've seen 2 swings like that today right there. Those half swing one holds up. Ryan Braun, first pitch from Clayton Kershaw, went through one of those, and Howie right there. You saw Howie shaking his right hand. That is dangerous.
1-2.
Your hands want to stop and the bat keeps going.
You're using your body to already start your swing, so that's an awful lot of force you're asking your hands to try to stop and hold up.
Into right field, well hit. Braun is there, and that does it for the Dodgers in the 3rd. Nothing across. We'll go to the bottom half of the 3rd, and Clayton Kershaw will face Elian Herrera, Hector Gomez, and Kyle Loach. We'll be facing Herrera, Gomez, and Loach in the bottom of the 3rd. And come on out to Dodger Stadium a week from tomorrow night and be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance to receive a Clayton Kershaw bobblehead that celebrates his historic 2014 season. And was it ever? Presented by Coca-Cola. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Kershaw so far this season, including tonight, has struck out 47 in 33 innings, and he's walked only 7. Herrera, come back. Oh, that ain't right. That just isn't right. 1 out and nobody on.
Jimmy Rollins ended the last inning in the 2nd with an unbelievable play at short. Well, Clayton Kershaw says, I'm not going to be outdone. Watch this. Behind the backhand. Little flip toss to Adrian. Ho-hum, here you go. This is just like a goalie that slipped out of the way and had to come back around for the rebound.
Worthy of a Carl's Cam replay.
I think he's trying to show up J.P. Howe. He's like, yeah, you can tag someone behind your back, but try to make a play behind your back like I did.
Kershaw won the Gold Glove in 2011. In the hole at short. Rollins the backhand and the throw, and he's got him 2 out.
You remember the squeeze play last year when Kershaw made the diving stab and threw out Ricky Weeks? I think I said at the time, what doesn't he do? Well, he does only everything. So 2 out. Kyle Loesch takes a strike, and it's 0-1. That's the thing about Kershaw. He can help his team in every facet of the game. On 0-1, Loesch with a clean single into center field. So visions of a no-hitter go up in smoke with that clean line drive single to center by Kyle Loesch.
A high fastball right here. Clayton liked to have it back. He has no-hit stuff that he has been showing tonight, but that one, Loesch just put the bat on, played a little pepper up the middle, and hit a line drive.
So 2 out, nobody on. Carlos Gomez coming up.
Be careful here on the first pitch.
Gomez struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Nothing in 1.
Carlos, a notorious hard swinger, swings the bat about as hard as Jacques Peterson does. They attack it no matter what count they're in, but after a 2-out hit from your pitcher and a 1-0 deficit, really thought he'd be hunting that fastball and hacking like he just did.
Bitten by a hamstring. Well, Loesch has been a balk.
They called it a balk, and he's going to ask. He's like, no way.
Can't argue a balk, Clayton.
No.
You cannot argue a balk, but he's going to say he broke the plane.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I didn't think he did.
Either does Clayton.
Don't get thrown out.
He might get thrown out.
Don't get thrown out.
That's not a balk. He stepped towards first base.
I've seen an awful lot worse not get called. And
well, Mattingly's doing all the talking for Kershaw.
He's doing a great job being the distraction now.
Well, now Donnie's going to get his money's worth.
It's almost like Paul said, you can't argue a balk. 2 of you had, so 1 of you's got to go.
Now Mattingly's going to talk to Jerry Meals, the crew chief, home plate umpire, on his way back. Might as well get his money's worth.
I was going to say, are they going to toss you twice?
Well, Mattingly figures if somebody's going to get thrown out, better be me than Kershaw.
Yeah, that's an excellent job by Donnie, just getting in the way and getting out there quick enough to protect Clayton.
So Tim Wallach, the bench coach, will take over the helm. No balls and 1 strike. Now Clayton has to take a big deep breath and regroup.
Take a look. You've got 45 degrees to step towards first base. Clayton doesn't break the plane. That is not a balk. His foot doesn't go back and break the plane of the rubber, so he didn't deceive the runner that he was going home, and he didn't deceive the runner that he was going home by not stepping towards first.
12th time in his career Kershaw's been called for a balk. Uribe's got it, and that'll end it. But not before the hit by Loesch, the balk by Kershaw, and the ejection for Don Mattingly. We'll go to the 4th. Dodgers 1-0.
Particularly Adrian Gonzalez and Alex Guerrero had tremendous months of April. Gonzalez at 383, 8 home runs, 19 runs batted in. And Guerrero merely averaged an RBI in games played and hit .423 along the way. Not bad for a part-time player, Alex Guerrero, huh? And Adrian Gonzalez, you can bank he's going to play 150 games a year. And you can pretty much bank he's going to hit near 300. And hit about 25, 28 home runs and knock in 100, 110. A model of consistency. Adrian Gonzalez takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
And then you have Alex Guerrero taking advantage of the opportunities when he's put in there as a pinch hitter, when he gets a start. And he's just been tremendous. I mean, and not just out, everybody who's been coming off the bench or hasn't been started early on, and or guys filling in for guys who have been injured. It's really just been a whole team effort this year.
At 16-8, the Dodgers begin the night 3 games in front of the Padres, and Gonzalez is hit by a pitch. Meanwhile, Alana's spent a lot of time today. I saw you were the interpreter today. Alex Guerrero and the Dodger beat reporters.
Yeah, I had to do a little bit of translation, but that's no problem when you're talking about the Rookie of the Month. Alex Guerrero was asked earlier if he even knew about the award. He didn't even know that Rookie of the Month existed. We asked him who he found out from, and he said basically his lawyer and his agent. But he was also asked, what it meant to him. He said it's nice to know that the hard work that started in spring training and even a bit of last season has paid off, guys. And he said, now it was also asked, what do you think is going to be more difficult now that people are starting to recognize you? And we talked about this before last week, just the adjustments that he's going to have to make at the plate when the opposing pitchers start to figure him out. He said at first they didn't really know what they were getting, and now they're going to have to obviously try and pitch him differently, guys. What
was most fascinating about Alana's report, this is now the 21st century. How do you find out stuff? From your lawyer and your agent.
Well, you know what? It's usually like Twitter or some other way.
They
right?
probably read it on Twitter.
That's true.
I said, Alex, I just saw something on Twitter. Well, here's Van Slyke, a ball and a strike. Dodgers a 1-0 lead in the 4th, and Van Slyke fouls it back. 1-2.
Guerrero, like the whole Dodger team, has so many reasons that they could not be doing well. I mean, all the injuries the Dodger team has had, and then Alex with swing changes and position changes and contract clauses that say you can't send me to the minors.
And let's not forget life changes.
Life changes,
in the last
the culture.
Couple of years.
Yeah. And the Dodger team, has lost 2 starters, Ryu and McCarthy, a closer and 2 other bullpen pieces. Their emotional and veteran leader and Peralta down there. Their right fielder, their left fielder. And they're on top of the world still.
Well, they've done it with their bats and their bullpen. And Guerrero, of course, when called upon to play third or left field, and with a bat in his hand, he's been really dangerous. Ethier, strikeout victim in his first at-bat. And a strike, 0-1.
When Andrew Friedman took the job and then turned the roster over, about 20-some guys of the 40-man roster? And then if you asked him, in the first month of the season also, you're going to lose 7 of your guys that are going to be on that 25-man roster. But don't worry, you're going to be in first.
And they just keep bringing up new ones. And a ball outside, including Daniel Colomé today. So the Dodgers tonight, as if they need 9 relievers in the bullpen with Kershaw going and the stuff that he has shown in the first 3 innings, is loaded for bear. It's loaded for the entire jungle, for goodness sakes. 9 in the bullpen. And Ethier pops it to the left. Ramirez can't quite reach it.
You don't get quite the same help on the opposing dugout when you're going to catch the pop-up. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of verbal abuse. They talk about trash talking in the NBA. Well, there could be trash talking in the big leagues on those kind of plays right there. Guys yelling, watch out, heads up real early, or I got it. And then the player thinks it's the catcher coming in. You can get all kinds of little quirkiness going on down there.
Not these Dodgers. They flew out of the way.
Got out of the way.
Oh, you can fly out of the way, but
Oh,
use
yeah.
your voice. Don't worry. You move out of the way, but you yell.
Here's the 1-2 to Ethier high.
Yeah, it's a little bit different if that were Uribe going over there to try to catch
Oh,
a
all
ball.
kinds
Everybody
of
over
help.
there helping him, making
You got
sure he
room.
doesn't
You got
fall.
room.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Right this way, sir.
And if you go over, we'll catch you.
No, you get the silent treatment or some kind of odd instruction if you're going to the wrong bench.
On 2-2, Ethier slaps it to left. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Gonzalez holds at second. The Dodgers are in business. First and second with one out.
I know it wasn't hit hard, but that is real pretty.
Oh, Andre, just going the other way. There's balls tailing away from him. We talked about a lot of these hitters, how balanced and how they're letting the ball get deep. You see that ball, it looked like, from that angle, you can see it was really to the middle of his body, almost to his back leg when he was able to make contact with that ball and drive it the other way. So he gave himself time to recognize that it was an off-speed pitch rather than being out in front and trying to guess on what pitch it was going to be.
What a solid first month Andre Ethier has turned in. Yasmani Grandal homered to win the game yesterday in L.A. Doubled in his first at-bat here in Milwaukee tonight.
And we're going to take one more look at Andre's side swing. So this is what I'm talking about. Watch where he makes contact with this ball. See that almost like his back knee when he makes contact with that ball. And that's what when you always hear players say, oh, I'm staying back more, I'm trusting my hands, I'm letting it get deep. Those all mean the same thing, and that's allowing that ball to travel. And what that does as a hitter, it allows you to when you can trust yourself that you can make contact there, or that you're not going to be beat by a fastball or an off-speed pitch. You can wait till the ball is out of the pitcher's hand to recognize it and then decide on what you're going to do, rather than trying to anticipate before that and make your decision.
2-1 to Yasmani Grandal.
Yasmani's got completely different body language now when he's up there looking very hitterish with the home run and then the double here today.
Grandal slowly but surely has lifted his average now to 242. He was languishing well below the Mendoza line most of the first month. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Uribe on deck. Dodgers with the 1-0 lead. And Grandal well hit to center field. Back goes Gomez. In front of the wall. He can't get it. Gonzalez now rounding third, and he will score. Gomez, the cutoff man, couldn't handle the throw cleanly. Grandal remains at first. Ethier goes to third, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead.
Well, once again, Grandal going the other way. This is an off-speed pitch. It's a breaking ball, and he stays with it, and he drives it. And now for Adrian Gonzalez, he has to wait because that is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder out there, and Carlos Gomez. So you think he might have a beat, so you have to wait. Then it hits off, and I'll tell you, luckily, it would have been a close play at home had the middle infielder come up with that ball, but it goes through the middle infielder, so he's able to score easily.
So now the Dodgers have runners at the corners, a 2-0 lead, and Uribe a 12-game hitting streak. No balls and a strike. A base runner has to play conservatively when you got Gomez in center. He has made as many circus catches over the past 3-4 years as anybody. Has a great arm. The throw into the cutoff man Gomez was bobbled. Had he made a clean catch and throw, there may well have been a play at the plate.
Well, he played it off the wall very well. After it hit the wall, he got it just on one bounce and got it in to the infield quickly.
As badly as the Brewers have been struggling, they're 7-18, 11.5 back. You know that the managerial change was made today. Renicky out, Counsell in. Already in Milwaukee, they're saying, all right, if this season doesn't get any better anytime soon, there may well be a house cleaning. And one of the most viable pieces on the Brewer roster is that center fielder, Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, Ryan Braun's contract and his production right now are really untradeable unless Milwaukee would want to eat some money, but I don't think they're in a position to eat a lot of money in this market.
Into center field, and there's Gomez, and here's the throw to the plate, and safe. Ethier has to retrace his steps, touch the plate. The Dodgers take a 3-0 lead. That was a sacrifice line drive. There was no fly about that one. That was a rocket shot off the bat of Uribe, his 5th run batted into the season.
And we were just talking about Gomez and his defense. So you're taking a chance because he's coming in, charging that ball, and he just makes a throw that's just offline just a little bit that allows Ethier to get in there. And good job by Ethier. It looked like he got it with his hand, but just to make sure to run back and tag home plate again to let the umpire know for sure that he's safe.
Now Kershaw with a 3-0 lead. Clayton bounced to third in his first at bat. So Kershaw with a 3-run lead to work with historically has been pretty near unbeatable.
Watch the home plate umpire Jerry Meals as Andre Ethier goes by trying to avoid the tag. If Meals gives a safe sign, that means he touches the plate. But Meals doesn't give any sign, so he's telling Andre, you didn't touch it. And Andre saw that and went back. So the base runner's eyes go to the umpire. The umpire is standing there just staring at you. That means you need to get to the plate.
So that's what the base runner looks, and also the catchers usually. The catchers are always looking to see if the umpire had made a call as well once the ball gets away or a guy slides by home to see if he touched it or not.
Meals, the crew chief, in his 17th big league season.
Clayton might have thought that was a good pitch or a strike on him right there. He kind of stuttered step a little bit after that breaking ball.
The Peterson solo home run in the first, 2 here in the 4th. The Dodgers lead 3-0. That'll do it. Gonzalez hit by a pitch, an Ethier single, a Grandal single, and a sacrifice fly for Uribe. Dodgers 3-0. We go to the bottom of the 4th. He'll be facing Jason Rogers, Ryan Braun, and Aramis Ramirez as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Well, the Dodgers' solid play continues. 16-8 coming into the game. A 3-game lead over the Padres. Andre Ethier, who has had just a great first 5 weeks of the season with the play at the plate, and Jock Peterson, who cracked his 7th home run of the year. And Adrian Gonzalez, merely the player of the month in the National League. So far, so good for the Dodgers.
You are so right, Charlie. Everyone contributing in their own way, and even the guys that are slumping, like Jimmy Rollins with the bat, doesn't take that bat out onto the field. Grandal has improved in his pitch blocking ability, his throwing, and now the bat's starting to come around, and Clayton looks like he's finally having an outing, or on track to have an outing that's very Clayton-esque.
He has struck out 4, hasn't walked anybody. And Kershaw, through 3 innings, has thrown only 31 pitches. Make it 32. And the first out of the 4th. Again, a small sample size. We're 3.5 innings into this game. You see which team is in first place and which team is in last.
Right, but you're also, with the way Clayton's pitching as well, and you see them going after the first pitch, and you might go, well, why are you attacking that? Make him work. Well, at the same time, when Clayton is pounding the strike zone, you don't want to get behind a guy as a hitter. You're like, I don't want to get behind Clayton Kershaw. He's got a put-away pitch right now that he's showing that he has it today. So you're going, when I get a ball that I think I can handle, I'm going to try to attack it.
Braun takes a strike and it's 0-1. Braun a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. So Ryan Braun at the moment is at 226, a career 313 hitter.
Those last 2 fastballs by Clayton are just darts, and those are exactly the way he throws the ball when he is locked in. Downward plane, right down by the knees or just below the knees, and it sets up everything else. He can throw his slider out of that window. He can climb the ladder with the fastball, and once he climbs the ladder, if you don't bite at that, he'll drop the curveball from heaven out of that slot. Rick Honeycutt, I'm sure, likes what he sees from the big lefty out on the mound.
4 strikeouts, no walks, just 1 base hit against him. Two and two.
He's had Ryan Braun in between in both at bats. Ryan trying to guess with him because he's probably trying to eliminate a half of the plate or a pitch, but he is seeing the ball and not reacting properly.
Right at Rollins. 2 out. Kershaw is just in this flawless rhythm tonight.
I just took what you said, Oro, that Kershaw's throwing darts, and when you hit that down zone as a hitter, you say dart because it just seems like it has extra velocity more than his regular fastball. It just seems like it's getting on you quicker, and that gets into plays with your mind a little bit as a hitter. You're like, oh, is he throwing harder, or whoa, I really didn't pick it up out of his hand too well. That just got on me. That surprised me, and now you really feel vulnerable.
Strikeouts or groundouts tonight for Kershaw. The outfield is yet to have to do any business. Ramirez goes down. The Brewers go down in order. It'll be the top of the order for the Dodgers in the top of the 5th. Kershaw with a 3-0 lead. Kershaw and the Dodgers enjoying a 3-0 lead. Top of the order for the Dodgers in the top of the 5th in Milwaukee, where the game time temperature was 57. And generally speaking, if the temperature is below 60, they close the roof here at Miller Park. And here in Milwaukee, they're expecting a bit of rain next couple of days, but the show must go on under the big top. Peterson, a home run in his first at bat, third pitch of the game, takes a strike, 0-1.
Wish they would have put a roof in Colorado. They were smart here. And then they could have adjusted the humidity and controlled how far the ball flew. They could have put misters in along the top of the roof and put more humidity into the indoor stadium.
Where were you 15 years ago?
I didn't have that idea. I was 15 years dumber.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Peterson, with Rollins and Kendrick to follow.
In Colorado, doesn't they have, like in Denver, like 300 sunny days? So they were probably saying, well, let's take advantage of that.
But they have roofs that open in Milwaukee.
No, I understand that, but then again, if it's open, does the misters really affect then if it's open?
I would leave them closed during the game.
Oh,
be open for BP, open for the fans to enjoy before the game, after the game if they wanted to stay late. But during the game, yeah.
Meanwhile, back in Milwaukee, the Dodgers have a 3-0 lead.
It's only pertinent because we are going to Colorado next.
Hold that thought till Friday.
Okay. Now I got to hold material.
2-2.
And the Rockies are in a rain delay, Charlie, right now.
There you go.
It's supposed to rain there pretty much all week, in fact.
I know.
Here's a 2-2. Inside and low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Peterson strikes out a lot, walks a lot, hits home runs a lot. He's 3rd in the league with 18 walks. Out of play. On 3-2, Peterson beginning the 5th. Takes a walk. Jimmy Rollins, while 0 for 2 tonight, has made several terrific plays at shortstop.
As we look at the Morongo slow-mo cam, look how quick he gets rid of this ball. First of all, as a shortstop, you get into the ball, or any player, you get into it, and he shows off the athleticism, but the quick release, knowing that you're deep in the hole, it's a long throw, and he's hustling down the line is what really made that play.
Rollins takes low.
Those plays just make me smile because I give up a lot of ground balls on purpose, hopefully, and it just, when you guys pick them like that, it just makes it so much fun.
We're glad, and that's why we hope, after we do that later on, you take us out for dinner because you really, really appreciate it.
That play was worth a dinner. Some are only worth a drink.
Okay. Just checking.
Cheers. One ball and no strikes. Rollins 0 for 2. He struck out and bounced back to the box. And he slices one foul to the left and out of play. Jimmy at 172. Jason Rogers, the first baseman for Milwaukee. Looks like Prince Fielder Jr.
I think that's a great call.
Throw down to first. Neil Kotz. That's another name that is being mentioned as potential trade bait should Milwaukee go on a selling spree. Kendrick on deck and Gonzalez to follow. And the 2-1 to Rollins. Into center field. Gomez going back, way back, and against the wall. He tracks it down.
That's frustrating as a hitter when you struggling a little bit and then you square the ball up. You go the opposite way as well. We talk about how for a hitter how good that feels to be able to drive the ball to the opposite gap, and yet you have a Gold Glove center fielder tracking it down and making it look easy, knowing that that was not an easy play, and a lot of other center fielders that would have fallen for multiple base hit.
Now Howie Kendrick is 0 for 2, and he skies one into right center field. And there's Gomez. 2 out. It's been a long time since the Brewers had a big, serious first baseman. Prince Fielder. Jason Rogers looks like a baby Prince. So the Brewers continue to struggle. Adrian Gonzalez is the batter. Milwaukee's got the shift on, and the second baseman Herrera, the one-time Dodger, at short right. Van Slyke is on deck. The Dodgers lead by 3. And Kershaw, through 4 innings, has thrown 39 pitches. 2 balls, no strikes to the National League Player of the Month. In his career, Adrian Gonzalez hitting .406 here. 3 balls and no strikes. A 4-pitch walk to Gonzalez. 3rd walk of the game given up by Kyle Loesch. And pitching coach Rick Kranitz is going to go out and talk to his veteran right-hander.
He almost pitched around Adrian there. I know you don't want to walk a guy into scoring position, but he didn't look like he wanted anything to do with him. Almost like Adrian, if I throw him strikes, he's got a chance of hitting the long ball, and that would be my knockout punch. I'll take my chances with Van Slyke.
So Gonzalez in his career .385 against Loesch, and Van Slyke in his career, this is the 3rd time he's facing him. First 2 tonight. So Peterson, great speed at second base. Gonzalez is at first. Dodgers looking to extend their 3-0 lead. Meanwhile, Loesch is already at 101 pitches. And we're not out of the 5th. And he's not out of the woods. Rogers will run out of room.
First and second, 2 out, 3-0 lead already. Van Slyke can really throw the knockout punch here, not only for Loesch, but possibly for the Brewers this early, because the way Clayton is throwing the ball on the mound right now and how efficient he's been, he's going to be around for a while if he continues to throw the quality strikes that he's been throwing. He's got both the curveball and the slider working. He's got both fastball lanes working.
1-1 to Van Slyke. 1-2. Van Slyke this year 4 out of 8 with runners in scoring position. And he's got Peterson at second and Gonzalez at first. But down in the count, 1-2 with 2 out of the top of the 5th. Well hit to center. But Gomez has room. And that's going to do it. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left. Halfway through the ball game after 4.5 from Milwaukee. Dodgers 3-0. Is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan's ride of your life for exciting performance and surprising offers. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. We go to the bottom half of the fifth. Chris Davis, Martin Maldonado, and Elian Herrera to face Clayton Kershaw, who has brought his A game with him tonight. High and away, 1 ball and no strikes. He struck out the first 4 batters he would face tonight, Kershaw did. And since then, 1 hit and 8 grounders. 0-1-0 to Davis. Breaks his bat, lost one to short left. And Van Slyke is there. Well, finally an outfield out. Only 1 batter so far has taken Kershaw to as many as 5 pitches. Martin Maldonado was robbed of a base hit on a brilliant play by Jimmy Rollins in the 2nd inning. Maldonado catching with Lucroy on the DL for the foreseeable future with a broken big toe. So little wonder that Milwaukee is struggling as mightily as they are. Braun has struggled all year. Gomez was hurt. Offensively, relatively speaking, has been quiet. Lucroy, the all-star, he's out. And they've got nobody in their rotation with an ERA of under 4. If you can't hit, you can't pitch. Life's tough. Thus, they're under new management. Craig Counsell, his first day on the job.
It was interesting, a guy that has never managed a day in the big leagues. He got a 3-year contract. He joins the likes of Mike Matheny in St. Louis and Robin Ventura in Chicago, Walt Weiss in Colorado, Brad Osmus in Detroit, of all the guys that have never managed a game. And their first managing job is a big league manager.
Well, Counsell grew up here, played here, was working alongside Doug Melvin in the front office. And this was a guy who had to scrap and claw every step of the way to have a very solid major league career. Down on strikes is Maldonado, the 5th strikeout of the game for Kershaw. There's 2 out.
It's really the first time that Clayton has gone up the ladder. He's been really trying to get the fastball down tonight, but now has another weapon he can go to, showing everyone he has thrown strikes with the fastball, so they see the straight one out of the hand, but it's in a tough location to hit when it's up there around your eyes.
The only hit of the game Kershaw has surrendered was a 2-out single to Kyle Loesch in the 3rd inning. Herrera takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Herrera, in his first at bat, it says in the scorebook 1-3. But Kershaw made a magnificent behind the back catch on a 1-hopper, and then made it look easy. Herrera starting at second base for the Brewers tonight. What with Adam Lind, a left-handed batter, he's sitting it out and probably not complaining much.
The Brewers going with 8 right-handed bats, including the pitcher, and 1 switch hitter tonight, not letting Clayton see a left-hander.
Gene Segura, their everyday shortstop, not likely available. He was hitting the head on a pitch ball yesterday.
It's really unfair to kind of say that Craig Counsell's lineup is going to be different than Ron Renicke's lineup, this being his first night, because it's against Kershaw. So pretty much you're going to try to do everything you can because it's Clayton. But it'll be interesting for the Brewers to see what their lineup looks like when they face normal human beings.
Well, when they do, they're hitting .227 and it ranks 13th in the league.
But that would call for probably a shakeup with a new manager, as far as a shakeup in the clubhouse, shakeup with the new voice, and a shakeup possibly in the lineup. But not a lot to shake when you're going against the MVP.
Down on strikes is Herrera, badly fooled on a Clayton Kershaw breaking ball. That's 6 strikeouts for Kershaw. He hasn't walked anybody, and he's sitting pretty with a 3-0 lead as we head to the 6th. One of the first 40,000 fans in attendance Thursday, May the 14th, when the Dodgers play Colorado and pick up your Sandy Koufax pin. It's number 3 in the Cy Young Pin Collector Series presented by 76. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Andre Ethier will bat for the Dodgers against Milwaukee's new pitcher, Neil Kotz, making his 10th appearance. And he'll be facing Ethier, Grandal, and Uribe. Kyle Loesch threw too many pitches. 5 innings, 105 of them, gave up a home run, 3 runs and 4 hits. And one of those 4 hits, a single for Ethier, who's 1 for 2 tonight.
Dodgers did a good job not chasing the low pitches. You know, he threw an awful lot of pitches. That's because he was trying to get them to chase and off the plate. And when they forced him onto the plate, they hit the ball hard. When he threw balls, they just took them.
Well, the other thing too that the batters do is you notice the pitcher's trying to really kind of be picky out there, trying to see how far he can extend the corners, and also recognizing what the umpire is giving him, whether the umpire is giving him off the plate a little bit. And Jerry Meals has been really consistent with those corners, which allows you to lay off of that. So that's, you know, you've seen a couple of these Dodger hitters, even the Brewers hitters, when they turn around, even on a strike, just ask. It's not like they're really upset and they're talking to the umpire. They just want to get a feel for what his strike zone is to understand, okay, how far are you going on the corners? Are you giving them a little more? What are you seeing as the umpire? So that way they can make an adjustment, and the Dodger hitters have done that against Kyle Loesch.
0-2. Ethier takes high and away. Neil Kotz came up with the White Sox in 2003. Then he moved over to the Cubs, then to Texas, and now Milwaukee. Kotz grew up in Chicago. Yasmani Grandal on deck, and then Juan Uribe in the top of the 6th. Ramirez just gets Ethier. So the Dodgers, never does a day go by without some kind of a roster move, some way, somehow. And keeping score on all of that is Alana.
Well, it's a bit of a revolving door, certainly, guys. According to Stats Inc., the roster has been changed 51 times so far. 51 roster moves, tied with the Tampa Bay Rays. 17 more moves than any other team in Major League Baseball since opening day. There you can see it. Hyunjin Ryu moved to the 60-day disabled list. I want to be clear, this is not a setback. He wasn't expected back until the end of May, beginning of June anyway. The Dodgers have also acquired right-handed pitcher Matt West from the Blue Jays today in exchange for cash. He has already been assigned to Double-A Tulsa, and they designated right-handed pitcher Scott Baker for assignment, guys.
And Baker, it was thought up until his previous start that he'd be starting here on Thursday. Well, he won't be. Who will be is another question. There is perhaps a hint. That's whacked into left field for a base hit. Boy, Yasmani Grandal has really locked himself in. Of course, he had the walk-off home run yesterday. A double and 2 singles tonight.
And not only that, from the other side as well. I mean, I'll tell you, you have switch hitters. Oftentimes, when you're struggling, one side feels a lot better than the other, and right now both sides seem to feel really good to Yasmani.
And he's hitting the ball hard too. These are not little dunkers. Uribe a sac fly, and he's fouled out. A 12-game hitting streak. Dodgers 3-0. Uribe whacks it foul.
I like those hard foul balls that way. When you're hitting it toward the dugout, that isn't your typical foul ball where you just kind of get underneath it and it goes to right field. That one he kind of squared up. It looked like he's as if he's late, but that's not a bad sign. That's one after that where you can usually drive after that or break your bat
and extend your hitting streak to 13 games. Not before a valiant try by Elian Herrera.
The reason I like that, when you do that, when you hit those balls foul, kind of goes back to when Andre Ethier, we talked about that, his at-bat, letting the ball travel and getting deep. That means you're really letting it travel. And as a hitter, you always feel like you can speed the bat up as compared. It's really difficult almost to slow yourself down if you're out in front too much. So you're going, okay, I just have to get started just a little bit more, just a little bit sooner on the fastball. That one he got jammed, but still, he kind of stayed through the ball, and it ended up falling for him.
Well, in his last at-bat, he whistled that line drive to center, got a sacrifice fly out of the deal. This time, he breaks his bat and gets a hit. Here's Kershaw, taking outside. Clayton is yet to sacrifice successfully this year, but throughout his career he has been one of the game's better bunters.
Craig Counsell was a very aggressive infield, Nomar, and they're putting the wheel play on here in his first managerial game.
So don't be afraid as a hitter, right? Pull it back and try to.
Third baseman charging, shortstop going to third.
What they have the third baseman, and we'll see if we can get a look at it. The shortstop, he's not really breaking as your typical wheel play early, but he is really close to third base. He's in a good spot where, you know, as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, do I pull back? Do I not pull back? He's really close to third base.
Ozzie Smith started that shortstop positioning back in the middle 80s.
Right there.
Instead of doing the break behind the runner and then running to third, just playing close enough to third that you could beat the runner.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Kershaw. Clayton, in his 7 big league seasons, has averaged more than 10 sacrifices per year. In 2010, he had 18 of them. So he's quite accomplished at the art of bunting, although he hasn't laid one down successfully yet this year. The Brewers continue to pinch the infield corners in. Kershaw's going to swing away and take it down and away.
There's a catch-22 for a pitcher right there. You know, as Clayton's like, I want to get that pitch when I'm throwing, but I'm kind of glad I'm still standing here. But since I got a 3-0 lead, I wish he would have punched me out.
Peterson on deck with Grandal at second and Uribe at first. Kershaw has 1 hit this year, a double.
Of all the awards that Clayton has won, that is the one that has eluded him, but he wants it bad, and that is the Silver Slugger. He's got one that not many pitchers have won, that MVP, and he's got plenty of Cy Youngs and ERA titles. But there's a guy who's got Silver Slugger.
On 2-2, he's bunting with 2 strikes. Now 2 out.
I'm sure Clayton thought, I've gained a little room by swinging away and fouling the ball off. So with that extra room, all I got to do is get down a general decent bunt out there. But he fails to get it down on this high pitch. Just kind of, you're almost thinking just out there anywhere and deaden it. Because you figure Milwaukee's not going to keep the wheel play or the shortstop in the hole there. I'll just get down a normal bunt. Just couldn't get it done.
And even there, he even squared around later than he did in those previous bunt attempts.
And it was a tough pitch to bunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what he was mad at himself, going, okay, that I didn't have to bunt that one. I couldn't pull back.
So with 2 out, it's up to Jock Peterson, who's homered and walked and grounded out. Dodgers 3-0, 2 out, 2 on here in the 6th. So Peterson at 278 with his 7 home runs and 16 runs batted in. And 353, oh, by the way, with runners in scoring position. And he finished behind Alex Guerrero as the Rookie of the Month. What's a man to do? Two on, 2 out.
Nomar, Jacques takes that cleansing breath when he steps in the box, looks down at his bat. Do you think he's preparing to exhale like when he's going to swing? Is that, you know how hitters a lot of times they want to exhale to get rid of tension when they swing?
Yeah, it's relaxing the body. It's exactly what he's doing, because that's how you want to be. You don't want to be so tense in there. You always say, okay, I want to be strong, but there's that exhale, just kind of relax. And
Relax the arms, relax the upper body.
Yeah, look at his hand. He's like it's not even grip. Look at his hand's not even gripped. Look at that top hand. See how soft that is? So and the softer that hand's, it's almost where you have the bat kind of in your fingers, the quicker you're able to get that bat through the zone. It's not where it's really stuck back in there in the middle of your palm and you're squeezing it real tight. That doesn't make you quicker. That actually makes you slower.
And if you hold your breath and grit your teeth, that makes your upper body tight.
And now he works the count full.
Because as much as he swings the bat and as hard as he does, it's really maybe not a hard swing as much as it's a tension-free swing.
Which allows, I mean, it's all about bat speed. And that man, Mark McGwire, has definitely had it himself and power to boot. And this guy at the plate has the power and the bat speed as well.
And the runners will be running. And Peterson is down on strikes, and that ends the inning. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Meanwhile, Kershaw is working on a shutout. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Dodgers 3-0. But they do it every game here. Have we an answer? Apparently not.
I have no idea, other than the first time they did it probably at a minor league ballpark. Fans had a good time with it, and they brought it here to the big leagues.
Hector Gomez will lead it off for the Brewers in the bottom half of the 6th. And Gerardo Parra in the on-deck circle, and he will bat for Neil Kotz, and then the top of the order, Carlos Gomez. And for Kershaw, but his 54th pitch of the game, and it's a strike, 0-1. Averaging just a shade more than 10 pitches per inning tonight. Into right. That's going to be a base hit and at least a double for Gomez, who can really run. And he is going to make it with a triple.
Gomez does a good job on this fastball, just driving it the other way. We talk about Clayton hitting his lanes, hitting his spots. That was over the middle of the plate more than he liked to try to get in there. And then we just see Gomez just flying around the bases and sliding into third base. And Kershaw upset with himself because he didn't quite get the spot that he wanted to.
Dodgers happy to trade an out for a run. Gerardo Parra is pinch hitting for Neil Kotz. So the infield is playing back. Parra, the former Arizona Diamondback. With The fly ball to center field. That one is well hit. Back goes Peterson, and that is off the wall. This is going to be trouble, and it looks like Parra is going to make a triple out of this one. Back-to-back triples off Clayton Kershaw here in the bottom half of the sixth.
Well, pinch hitters are taught to attack the first straight thing you see, and then doubly the lesson when you face a guy with Clayton Kershaw with the stuff he has tonight, and you're left-handed coming up to face him, which Clayton dominates lefty, so there's no way Parra wants to see a breaking ball. He hops on that first fastball, puts a nice swing on it. Unfortunately, Jock gets it in time to hold him to 3. Now Clayton pitching to keep that 2-run lead.
When Parra was with the Diamondbacks, he and Kershaw exchanged some unkind words toward one another. And Parra, with that base hit, is now 10 for 27 lifetime against Kershaw. That one is whacked to third. Uribe's coming home, and Grandal's going to tag him out. The beauty of that play was that Uribe was not the least bit rushed. He knew exactly where he was, who was running, and made the play.
Because it was hit so hard here. He gets the ball now. He realizes, okay, he breaks, gets a chance to throw him out. Definitely taking advantage of a mistake right there by the base runner. For Parra, you're better off. You should have stayed there. You're in scoring position. There's nobody out. No need to go there, but Uribe, as you said, as cool as ever, makes the play. Nice throw to home to get him out.
Especially with the Brewers trailing by 2, an ill-advised running play by Parra. So that's 1 out.
Craig Counsell got in his first controversy right there as far as something he's going to have to manage. And the players are going to see how does he handle it. When a blatant mistake on the field happens, how's it going to be handled?
Well, his bench coach, Jerry Narron, standing right by him.
Jerry's had plenty of managerial experience. Managed, of course, with the Texas Rangers. Jerry's style was to address that behind closed doors later after the game, not on the bench right during the game.
This is Jason Rogers. Well, they're hitting Kershaw here in the bottom of the 6th.
They're picking on his fastball. They're not really letting him get to the breaking ball. They're taking the slider. They're taking the curveball, but he hasn't really thrown many of those this inning. I think you said, Charlie, didn't he have 54 pitches coming into this inning?
53 and 36 were strikes.
Yeah, so he's only at 59, and I think they've been seeing mostly dead red.
Braun on deck.
I was just about to ask you, Earl. You know, that wasn't one of his better moves right there, but do you try, you've got a base stealer on base and Carlos Gomez, and you've already been called for a balk. Does that play with your head a little bit?
I don't think it keeps him from going to first base, but I think it'll keep him from having any of those borderline balk moves, and I don't think the one he made where he got called for the balk was a balk.
You can always have that move too in your back pocket. It almost gets him.
A quick step off move. Step off move because you watch the left foot of Clayton Kershaw. He will step off the rubber before he then throws. And what you do once you step off and disengage, you can actually fake the throw to first. You don't have to throw it. So you can't fake to first if you don't step off the rubber.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Kershaw has 1 pickoff this year. Rogers 0 for 2. The Brewers have not hit a home run off a left-handed pitcher since September of last year, and down goes Rogers. That's the 7th strikeout for Kershaw. 7 strikeouts, no walks, 2 out.
spots this pitch up real nice. Rogers has seen down and in sliders. He's seen curveballs from out of the sky. And now in the third at bat, he just locks him up with a solid fastball away. That's when you know you've gotten in the hitter's coconut. You've thrown him everything in your whole arsenal, and then just take him out with a basic fastball.
Ryan Braun just hitting .224, 5 home runs and 12 runs batted in. Fouls it back, and it's 0-1.
Watch Clayton's reaction after this pitch to Braun. He knows he gets away with one right here. He goes, oh boy. That one looked and felt like a couple of those triples. Glad he missed it.
And Braun is probably thinking exactly the same thing in reverse. The throw gets past Gonzalez, and Gomez will go to second.
Step off throw into the runner, and Gonzo's glove gets taken off. Falls off as he didn't hurt his hand. It doesn't look like it's off right there, and then maybe Gomez just takes off. That's the one place the first baseman can't catch the ball for you, is when you throw it into the runner. The runner blocks your glove, blocks your angle. You'd rather have it slightly high, even in the dirt, right at the bag, but into the runner is really hard.
And Kershaw pleading guilty on the error. Braun takes outside, 1-1.
Now for Clayton, it's just a matter of he has to regroup right now and really focus right here, and a dangerous hitter in Ryan Braun. And
it's been a long time since Ryan Braun has been Ryan Braun. 0 for 2 tonight. The 1-1 in the dirt, blocked by Grandal. 2 balls and a strike. In 2009, Braun hit .320. Led the league in hits with 203, 32 home runs, 114 RBIs. 2012, hit .319, 41 home runs, 112 runs batted in. 2013, 9 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Last year, 19 home runs, 81 runs batted in. Hit .266 and fouls it back. He also had thumb miseries, but he had 5 or 6 sensational seasons. Last 2 years plus, not so good. And he's got a hefty contract through 2020. And the 2-2 high, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
The production is not quite as high as it was before the testing and suspension, Ryan Braun. So some would say, you know, that the performance enhancing drugs really don't help. Well, there's a lot of living examples now that they really do help. People said during those times that, well, they still have to hit the fastball, they still have to have the eye-hand coordination. Well, you come to find out that the extra strength and the extra mass does help hitters and does help pitchers.
3-2 to Braun with Aramis Ramirez on deck and Gomez leading from second. There's 2 out. And down goes Braun. Grandal throws the first to complete the strikeout, the 8th of the game for Kershaw. Hasn't walked anybody. Milwaukee comes up with a run on back-to-back triples. We go to the 7th. Dodgers 3-1. balls all night. He has struck out 8, has not walked anybody, and he's sitting on a 3-1 lead. And Michael Blazak out of Las Vegas, Nevada. 26-year-old right-hander. The third Brave pitcher of the night. Blazek's given up just 1 earned run and 6 hits in 11 innings and held the opposition to a 158 batting average. He'll be facing Jimmy Rollins, Howie Kendrick, and Adrian Gonzalez.
This would be a nice time for the Dodger offense to get right back at it and get a run or two just to change the momentum a little bit. Brewers thinking they have a little hope right now because of that last inning. Put them right back on their heels.
Rollins hitless in 3 at-bats. No shift for him this time. The ball inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Two balls and no strikes.
Do you feel good and you think you're going to get hot after the way Jimmy hit the ball the last time, even though he get a hit? Or are you still like, I'm fighting it?
No, you feel better, but you still like those base hits that give you the confidence.
Exactly.
Instead of flying routinely to center field. Head to Dodger Stadium, 4 o'clock, May 16th. When the Dodgers celebrate their 1965 World Championship by hosting an old timers game with former Dodger greats. I imagine there may be a couple of them out of this booth here. Be one of the first 40,000 fans and receive a 1965 World Series replica ring presented by Security Benefit. Visit Dodgers.com/oldtimers. These are young old timers, but sorry, the label now fits.
Why don't we just call it legends?
So much better.
Yeah. It's more age appropriate.
Or alumni, whatever.
Charlie's just over there laying in the weeds waiting to get us. Just you guys carry on and I'll have the punchline soon.
You just keep putting it on the tee. 0-2. Kendrick takes high and outside 1-2. Well, last year,
yeah,
you were out there pitching. You had a little
microphone
and a little IFB. We were able to chat.
I have a feeling we're going to do that again, Charlie.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Me neither. I just hope Darryl Strawberry, who's not going to be there, doesn't have a 17 pitch at bat again. I was yelling, hit the ball fair. Let's go.
How great did he look, by the way?
He looks good.
Oh, man, does he.
Very healthy.
2 out. And here's Adrian Gonzalez.
You know, some people, get on their diet right before summer so they can look better in a bathing suit.
Yeah, me.
I need to get that day to that old timers game a little earlier.
December.
So I look better in my uniform.
It's sneaking up on you, my man.
Yeah.
It's sneaking up.
See, here's the deal. If you're an old timer, you don't have to worry about that. If you're a legend, then you're
supposed to look decent.
Yeah.
No. And then you got guys like Nomar who he works out for both of us, Charlie.
He does cardio for me every morning, for which I am eternally grateful. How much did we do today?
We did a good one today. We did a good hard 3-mile quick bike ride. It was I mean, it wasn't a long one. I mean, obviously it was only 3 miles, but you try to do it. I try to do it with
on a stationary bike, right?
Stationary bike.
I was like, you weren't riding around Milwaukee.
No. Like, I try to get it like in 9 minutes. So it was really,
wow.
Yeah. So just to get. That was just for you. That was just for you, Charlie. That was just at the end of. Or I had already done a workout, but that was just at the end for Charlie.
Oh, then we can go and have pizza tonight.
Yeah,
huh?
we're good. We're ready to go. So, I always say, I play for the tie, Charlie. So I play for the push.
2-2 to Gonzalez in the 7th. He went around, I assume. No. Andy Fletcher prolongs the at bat.
He didn't go. Nope. Earl thinks he did, but he didn't.
No, I don't think he went on that one, but let's go back to a rebase.
3-2, 2 out in the 7th. Gonzalez will get another at-bat, or another pitch at least. Adrian, the April Player of the Month in the National League. Tonight he's walked twice, been hit by a pitch, and scored a run. Leads the league with 8 home runs, 4th in the league with 20 RBIs, and the Dodgers a 3-1 lead in the 7th. So Gonzalez, 4 plate appearances, all 4 times he ends up at first base, 3 walks, and he got hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Scott Van Slyke. Slick is 0 for 3. Dodgers like an insurance run or two here. It doesn't look like they're going to get it. So Van Slyke grounds to third. Gonzalez is forced at second. We're in the 7th inning stretch. Kershaw and the Dodgers 3-1. Kershaw through 6 innings has given up 1 run, 3 hits. He has struck out 8. He has been in command of his domain. Back-to-back triples in the bottom half of the 6th for Gomez and Parra. And those 2 hits produced Milwaukee's only run. Aramis Ramirez, 2 balls and no strikes, is 0 for 2. Kershaw's 70th pitch, that's all. Grounded to short. And Rollins able to take his time, as Ramirez did on the way to first. On the next Backstage, Dodgers go behind the scenes with new pitcher Carlos Frias as we follow his journey from the Dominican Republic to Los Angeles. Plus, our cameras capture a day in the life with pitcher Sergio Santos. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers this Thursday at 7 o'clock, only on Time Warner Cable Sports Network. Chris Davis, no balls and a strike. Davis is 0 for 2. In case you're wondering how many complete games have the Dodgers had this year, looking for their first. Kershaw seems to be a pretty good candidate at this point, as he misses with a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just 73 pitches through 6 1/3.
He's got 99, 99, 104, 93, and 92.
And
So
1-1. He's high, 2-1.
And the most he's gone is 7, which was the last outing against the Giants in Bumgarner, where he took the loss. He's gone 6, 6 1/3, 6, 6, and 7.
Well, he's 6 1/3 through this journey. Into left field, and that's Scott Van Slyke. But certainly no fear should the Dodgers have to go to the bullpen, which has been spectacular. Dodger bullpen collective ERA is just 1.81. That's the second best in the league. And they have struck out 93 batters in 80 innings.
They're on that scoreless streak. Look at that, 26 straight scoreless innings, and to get that 13-inning win yesterday, they put in 7 of them.
They've been great. I think it was J.P. Howell who was saying, one of the reasons, his theory for how good they have been to this point, they realize that nobody is the 7th inning guy or the 8th inning guy or the broken back ground ball to third, and Uribe will throw out Maldonado, and another 1, 2, 3 inning for Kershaw. Through 7, 3 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 3 hits for the Brewers. Clayton Kershaw in search of his 2nd win of the season, and he's 7 innings through it.
Fastballs up and curveballs down. The sequencing, he's 2 pitchers in 1 body. You see from the fastball up to the curveball, the hitter has to commit, and then when he goes fastball down slider, that really can get the hitters going, and he has used both of those, and that's why he's been so dominant. Going for number 100 tonight, and he would be the 2nd youngest to get there, Charlie. The graphics, I think they got mine wrong. I thought I had 235. Just kidding. Russell, come on. You got to have a typo there to help me out.
As we go to the 8th inning, the mildly delusional Oral Hershiser, along with Nomar Garcia-Parra, Alana Rizzo, Charlie Steiner. We're in Milwaukee, the first of a 7-game road trip.
Clayton. Well, we're going to look at. I was going to go with Clayton's age, but look at the play by the ball boy, rescuing a few fans from injury. And Clayton at 27 years old, 46 days. The only one that'll be quicker to 100 than him is Felix Hernandez. That young man looking for the centennial remark. This is his third attempt tonight at it.
I'd really like to see the Dodgers get a couple more runs on the board if they can, just so when he goes out there, doesn't feel that pressure where he can just continue attacking the hitters.
Ethier's 1 for 3. Grandal 3 for 3 on deck. And then it'll be Juan Uribe. Andre at 322. Boy, has he ever stepped in with Puig down with the hamstring. Dodgers have not missed a beat.
You know, it was like, and Don Mattingly did a good job, you know, filtering those guys in after that first week of the season when we had a couple off days. It was going to be hard to get everybody there at bats to keep the bench sharp, but then started to filter the Guerreros in and the Ethiers in and the Van Slyks and the Turners, and then all of a sudden you have those major injuries and those guys are ready. They're just not cold coming in off the bench.
So put quotes around bench players. Ethier takes a call, strike 3. Ethier, as he retreats, is at 322. Turner, bench player, 293. Guerrero, bench player, 364.
Our reserves are starters on any other team.
Man. So Ethier's down on strikes. And Grandal can't wait to hit. 3 for 3.
Can a hot streak get in your head as much as a cold streak, Nomar?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, you can't wait to show up for work.
Yeah, you want to keep getting your at bats. You don't want to lose it. You want to just try to keep that feeling as long as you can. And also, you want to start trying to recognize what you're doing.
That is such a great point. You know, some coaches will say, you know, don't think about it. Just stay in there. Nobody talk to him. It's like, I wanted to take inventory during that time so that I could have the formula when I went bad. So I'll risk cutting off the hot streak by thinking too much, but at least having information on why I'm hot and how I feel. You know, what's my head positioning? What's my distribution of my weight? All that kind of stuff.
2-1 to Grandal. 2 out. So the box score says that Grandal is now 3 for 4, but he has hit the ball in the screws all 4 times.
You were talking about that hot streak. Yeah, okay, you know that's going back. You say that was still a good at bat. I'm not changing a thing. I drove that ball right back up the middle. Just the pitcher was able to snag it and make a good play.
He just hit the top of the ball instead of the middle or the bottom.
Yeah, he hit it hard. He hit it hard. I mean,
any other part of the ball a little lower. That
you saw the pitcher, the way he reacted there. He was almost angry. I think he was just glad he caught it rather than it not hitting him.
Uribe takes high. Uribe 1 for 2, a sac fly, and his bloop base hit in the 6th extends his hitting streak to 13 games. Meanwhile, talking about Grandal, you know, he was languishing about 190 for the first 3 weeks to a month. He's up to 262 now. And he's done a very nice job blocking balls in the dirt. Uribe takes a strike, 3-1. The centerpiece in the trade that sent Matt Kemp to San Diego. Yes, Monty Grandal, last couple of weeks, really been on fire. Uribe works out a walk with 2 out. And here comes Kershaw.
Nomar, when you start thinking about it as far as a hitter and at bats and batting average, I mean, is it these guys are getting close to 100 now, the everyday players? Is it 200 at bats?
Your batting average?
Yeah,
well, hopefully you're never thinking.
Feeling good. You don't even think about it.
I mean, everybody's different, obviously, when it comes to whether they want to know their batting average or are looking at it. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I did not want to know.
You didn't have to, for goodness.
No, you know, you say that, but for me, it was all about feeling. It's how I was feeling that particular. How do I feel about my swing? I didn't want a number to tell me how I was supposed to be feeling. So, you know, I could, you know, you can have the ones like Yasmani. Imagine you hit 4 line drives hard out, and it shows an offer, and you're going, but that was a good day. And then you can have some where you break your bat, you get jammed, you look awful, and they all seem to find holes, and it's not a good day, but it looks like that on the scoreboard.
You're not playing fantasy baseball. You're playing baseball. So you know what it feels like.
That's exactly right.
So you don't need a box score or some statistic to tell you how you're doing. Here's 1-1. Outside 2-1.
Every year what I would do is I would try, and some of these beautiful scoreboards, these big scoreboards, you see it when you're coming up. Especially, I would try I would really didn't want to know, and at the end of the year, I would sit with my father when the year's over, and we'd be talking about the season, and we wanted to try to guess. He would ask me, how did you feel? And I tried to guess my batting average that year based on my feel. And to see, you know, what do I think I really hit, but how did I feel I hit? And it was a great conversation on how well that year felt.
So the old expression, you don't want to know. You didn't want to know.
I did not want to know. I mean, I'd get interviewed at times, and I'd tell
people,
yeah, please don't tell me.
Don't tell me
about it. My numbers, please.
Kershaw, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And you even warn the media to this day around the Dodger clubhouse.
Yes.
Don't talk to them about numbers.
Right. You know you're doing well. You don't need to tell me the number, because now you just start thinking about it.
2-2 with 2 out, and Uribe leads from first. That'll do it. Blazek with 3 strikeouts and 2 innings of relief. No runs, no hits, a walk, and a man left. Dodgers have 6 outs to negotiate a path to their 17th win of the season. Daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. Clayton Kershaw warming up for the 8th inning. He'll be ready to go. And boy, is he being efficient tonight. Just 76 pitches, of which 48 have been strikes, through 7 innings. So he's averaging not quite 11 pitches per inning. The most pitches he's thrown in any one inning was in the 5th. Happened to retire the Brewers in order, striking out 2 batters through 16 in the 5th. through just 9 in the 7th. And now he's facing the bottom third of the Milwaukee order here in the bottom half of the 8th. 1 run, 3 hits. That's all he's given up, Kershaw, and he struck out 8 along the way. Elian Herrera, the one-time Dodger, 0 for 2, takes high and away 1 ball and no strikes. Kershaw falls behind 2 balls, no strikes. Hasn't walked anybody all night.
You want to get everybody out, but when you get this close to the end of the game and you're Clayton Kershaw, you start plotting how to get to the end, and you don't want to set the table for the top of the order coming up. You want to make this the easy inning. You got at least 1 hard inning coming with the top of the order and then going through the 3-hole Braun and Ramirez, but you don't want that part of the order coming up because the bottom of the order got on.
And you don't want to be walking Elian Herrera to begin the 8th. 3-1.
80 pitches, he might be just finally reaching that second energy level that you feel as a starter.
Comebacker slowly hit. Kendrick's going to have to hurry, and he gets it. You know, in the Oscars, you have what's called seat fillers when the big stars go up for the award. I think tonight Daniel Colon might have been that seat filler for Clayton Kershaw. Is that a fair appraisal, Alana?
I don't know that he wants to consider himself a seat filler, Charlie, but Daniel Colon was recalled today from AAA because of the fear that if Clayton Kershaw did not go deep into the ballgame or could not go deep into the game, they needed some sort of length out of the bullpen. Of course, with the 13-inning affair yesterday, every single reliever, with the exception of Chris Hatcher, was used yesterday. So Don Mattingly and company getting Daniel Colon up here in case they needed some length and to give the pen a break.
Well hit to left field. Hector Gomez has just brought the Brewers to within 1. Kershaw's 5th home run surrendered. It is now the Dodgers 3 and the Brewers 2. For Gomez, his 2nd home run.
Well, Gomez puts a good swing on it. Clayton is attacking with the fastball, and he's attacked with the fastball in, and the Brewers hitter saying, you know what, that's my best shot at getting a hit. I don't want to get to the breaking ball or the fastball away, so they're sitting on that fastball in and jumping on it. He misses his spot a little bit, but that's a swing that's what they were expecting, and they attacked it.
That's what hitters call cheating a little bit. They were anticipating, and you were really starting to swing. I mean, if that was a breaking ball, you swing right through it because you were anticipating that fastball. You got the barrel out in front and got all of it.
Adam Lind. Pinch hitting, swinging and missing, and it's 0-1. Kershaw's given up 4 hits tonight. A single, 2 triples, and a home run. And now he is nursing a 1-run lead.
Remember to Herrera, he fell behind and looked like he was going to walk him, so he didn't want to do that with Gomez, so he attacked him and got a big portion of the plate, and Gomez realized that and attacked the fastball.
As a result, you just saw Chris Hatcher warming up in the Dodger bullpen. 2 balls and a strike to Lind. Hitting .318 with 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Golfs it foul.
You know, we just saw A.J. Ellis standing down there by the coaches. A lot to be said for A.J. Ellis and what he has gone through this year and what he is still doing as far as the chemistry and character of this team. He was sitting in the clubhouse right next to Rick Honeycutt today, reviewing the videos for the pitchers meeting prior to this game, knowing that he has lost his starting job, that he's not catching his best friend tonight, but he was still in there grinding away at the plan with Rick and evaluating swings, watching video, going over tendencies of hitters, writing notes, and getting ready for the meeting for the whole staff.
And you've been a pitching coach, Oral. You have a catcher like A.J. Ellis. I mean, right in the middle of the game, are you also kind of, do you see anything that I'm not aware of, A.J.? Do you see anything out of Clayton, especially late in the innings? You're getting his advice?
He's right there, and for Rick and for Yasmani. And you see where A.J. Ellis's eyes are. They are staring at Yasmani in case he needs help. He is right there watching. He's in there. Look at him. He's even taking the cleansing breaths with the pressure, wanting to get Clayton through this.
Let's not forget, Don Mattingly was thrown out of the game, arguing a balk call. And so it has been Tim Wallach's game tonight. And there's Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, next to him. The 3-2, then fouls it back.
I like fastball away right here. Not because of breaking ball and strike him out, but to keep the possible hanger for a home run out of the equation. Fastball low and away. Look for a ground ball that he's gotten so many of. The best pitch that's going to get him out for sure, the slider or the curveball. The safest pitch, hard low and away.
It was hard low and away and fouled away.
Once the hitter gets in swing mode, which Lind is now it becomes safer to throw the breaking ball that looks like a strike and ends up a ball, even though it's a 3-2 count, because he's got the visuals where he's swinging twice, and the slider now they're going to should get him out.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat is whacked into right center field. That's going to split the seam and go to the wall, and Lind is on his way to second base.
The hitter's in swing mode. Clayton knows it. That's why they went slider. But the slider you want to throw right here is the one that looks like that fastball way he's been fouling off and ends up a ball. This one looks like a strike, stays a strike. So Lind, who's been starting the bat, is able to hit it. And that's because it was left slightly up. You look where that ball ends up. That's where he really wanted to start it and then break it down in a way. Just left it a little up.
Tim Wallach acting as the manager, with Don Mattingly having been ejected. And so it would appear as if Wally is coming out to deliver the bad news himself. And it didn't take long to do it. So now the Brewers, with a run in the bottom of the 8th, have the tying run in scoring position with only one out. It's 3-2 Dodgers. They're hanging on. Game summary. The Dodgers now nursing a 1-run lead. Third pitch of the game, Jock Peterson hit his second career leadoff home run and his 7th home run of the season. Don Mattingly ejected in the 3rd, arguing a balk call with first base umpire Paul Emmel. Kershaw now hoping that he can win his 100th career game, but it will be up to Chris Hatcher and the Dodger bullpen. Hatcher, his 13th appearance. Last saw him on Saturday when he recorded his 2nd save. Carlos Gomez. With Lynn the tying run at second. Gomez squares to bunt.
Interesting thought right there by Gomez. Your tying run at second base. I know there's one out, but you got to believe in yourself that you got to give yourself a chance to knock him in rather than just trying to move him over. He's already in scoring position. So
you're handing the responsibility off to somebody else.
Yeah, it was interesting there. And I'm sure
interesting is being kind.
0-1 to Gomez, who is 0 for 3 tonight. And he drills a base hit into left center field, and that will tie it. Lind will score. Gomez on his way to second, and it's a 3-3 game. So Kershaw cannot win his 100th tonight.
Back-to-back split fingers from Chris Hatcher. The second one with an 0-1 count got to be considered up. See where that ball's hit. It's hit about a ball above the knees, and that means the split finger probably started about waist high. It didn't have a lot of depth, and Gomez put a good swing on it. And to Nomar's point, that really makes the bunt attempt, makes you shake your head.
So now Jason Rogers and Gomez with great speed at second is the lead run. Rogers takes a strike. It's 0-1.
You can't fault going to the bullpen. They've been as hot as could be. Chris Hatcher looked like he's on a roll now the way he's been throwing the ball. And a lot of times in the bullpen you go to the hot hand, but I'll tell you, it's been like a hot whole pen.
So Kershaw's night is statistically complete. 7 1/3, 3 runs, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Can't win it, can't lose it. He's going to have to wait another 5 days to get a shot at his 100th career win. Rogers, ground ball to short. Rollins has it, throws him out, and that ends the inning. It'll be the top of the order for the Dodgers and the top of the up. There's 2 out. There's 2 out. It'll still be the top of the order for the Dodgers in the 9th, but we're going to have to wait a moment. And now Ryan Braun is coming up.
2 of the more frustrating outings for Clayton Kershaw, as we saw him just staring out into the distance. You know, he goes and has a really good outing against the Giants, but goes up against Bumgarner and loses 2-1 and goes 7 innings. No walks, 8 strikeouts, and then here tonight he really did have no-hit stuff. Gives up the first hit of the night for himself to the opposing pitcher, and then just can't finish it off. But he is so close to being Clayton Kershaw right now in the last 2 outings. He has just not gotten the results and been able to finish them off.
Last 2 starts, Kershaw has struck out 16 and not walked anybody. But he can't win it or lose it. And Braun takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ryan Braun is 0 for 3. Does not agree with Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire.
I hope that's a strike.
Oh and 1, 2 out. 0-2, 97.
We're really seeing a different Ryan Braun and the skills he brings into the batter's box, because he can't catch up to that fastball. That's the kind of fastball he used to turn on, and that makes him then susceptible to the slow breaking ball in the dirt, which we saw the pattern in the last at bat against Kershaw when he struck out.
Here's the 0-2. Just missing.
Wow. When the hitter can't catch up to the fastball, then they want to cheat and start early, and then they start cheating and start early, and they can't hit the breaking ball.
And then you go out there in the outer half with that fastball, and that was close and didn't get the call, but
it gives you lockjaw.
Yep.
Gomez 90 feet away. Hatcher calls Grandal out for a conference.
The fact that you have a go ahead, run 90 feet away. Does that also, in your mind, take away some of this, maybe the hard breaking ball, afraid of a ball in the dirt, getting away from the catcher?
The thing I'm scared of, if I'm Chris Hatcher, is I want to throw him a split finger in the dirt, but I got to trust Yasmani to block it. If I throw the split finger for a strike, that speeds up Braun's bat, and I've already seen I can beat him with the fastball. I go back upstairs with the fastball right here.
Hatcher has 2 wild pitches on the year, and up and in at 96, 2-2.
And I think it's not necessarily the fastball in that I go up the ladder with. You have to give the hitter something to start the bat, a stimulus to start the bat. So I give the hitter the width and throw the ball down the middle. I don't give him the height, and I throw it too high for him to catch up.
Carlos Gomez is at third base. We're tied at 3. 2 out, 2 in the 8th, and a broken bat bleeder. This is going to be tough. Uribe barehand throws, safe, and the Brewers take a 4-3 lead.
They're going to challenge this play. I mean,
no matter what.
First of all, what an incredible play by Juan Uribe to get that. I mean, this is a leader barehanded.
Well, there's no reason not to challenge.
He saws him off with a great fastball in, and then it just gets to the point where he doesn't hit it hard enough. I think he's got a chance of getting this reversed right here. Take a look at Braun's foot. Take a look at. Ooh, well, it might be one of those ones that if it was called out, it's not reversed, and if he's called safe, it's not reversed. The call on the field is safe. There might not be enough evidence to overturn it.
On the headsets is Ryan Braun, waits at first base. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, and Paul Emmel, who made the call. Well, the folks here know how, at least from their point of view, the play should turn out.
Well, you have to challenge it if you're the Dodgers. You're looking at it going, I'm not sure, but when the game's on the line, you got to just say, yeah, we're challenging it. The guys in New York might see something different.
I don't know. Right there looking at that, I mean, I don't know if there's enough there to overturn it, unfortunately.
Looks like the bag, the compression of the bag from the foot is starting before the ball reaches the leather.
I mean, I think we've seen plays that seem to be more obvious than that.
Yeah, that don't get reversed.
That don't get reversed.
Nope. The Brewers take the lead. With 1 out and nobody on, Hector Gomez hit his first major league home run. Then Adam Lind on a 9-pitch at-bat doubled to right center. Gomez doubled to left center, drove in a run, and would come in to score on the broken bat infield hit by Ryan Braun. And for the first time tonight, the Brewers have the lead. This is a Brewers team that, of course, changed managers this morning. Ron Renneke was fired. Craig Counsell took over.
And Craig Counsell, the way the Brewers are winning this game was a lot of times a utility player pinch hitter that came off the bench and hopped on the first fastball. He was a guy that you saw him off and hit the ball weakly, and he'd beat the ball out to first. And they're coming back in this game the way he played.
Ramirez 0 for 3. So a broken bat bleeder off the bat of Ryan Braun. Now the difference in the game. Peterson, Rollins, and Kendrick to bat for the Dodgers in the 9th. And that one is well hit to left. Hatcher and the Dodgers can catch their breath.
Well, this is a completely opposite of the Braun at bat. Braun showed he couldn't catch up on the fastball, and they stayed with the fastball. They also had a man on third and didn't want to risk the split finger in the dirt. Well, now you got a guy that shows he can turn on the fastball, is guessing fastball. That's when you can go off speed.
Ramirez with 3 home runs on the year.
He's got to get that split to be a more competitive pitch, Nomar.
He's got to make it look more like a strike, because it's a swing and miss pitch. It's not a pitch that you usually throw to try to get a strike where you freeze them. So, and when it's not starting in the strike zone, it's easy for a batter to just lay off of it.
7th batter of the inning. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Aramis Ramirez.
One thing I know about Ramirez is even though he may have looked late or seemed that way, he's not. If you try to go back-to-back with fastballs, he's one of those guys that can just turn on it and catch up to it and make an adjustment.
2-2 with 2 out.
And that last fastball away is the perfect setup for that split finger in the dirt. He can throw the split finger to the outer half out there like it looks like the fastball, and then it makes that same break down and in or down over the middle. That's when he'll get him to swing over the top or ground out to Uribe at third.
Into center field. Peterson got a late jump, but now he's there. And that'll end the inning. But the Brewers come up with 3 in the bottom of the 8th. The Dodgers now have 3 outs left to come up with a runner more. Fans follow the Dodgers all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Changes for the Brewers. Most importantly, here's their closer, the one-time Angel, K-Rod. First pitch. Jock Peterson. 0-1. Adam Lind, who pinch hit, remains in the game for Milwaukee at first base. And Jordan Schaefer is in left field. Peterson began the game with his 7th home run of the year. He's bounced to third, walked, and has been struck out. The Brewers with 3 in the bottom of the 8th knock out Kershaw, who he will not lose the game tonight. Hatcher on the docket now. 1-2 to Peterson. Dodgers 13-2 at home, but at the moment 3-6 on the road. Dodgers at home this year averaging 5.5 runs and more than 9 hits per game, but on the road through 9 games coming into this one, 3.5 runs and 8 base hits. Peterson down on strikes. That's the first out of the ninth.
Frankie Rodriguez, a different pitcher than he used to be, but still a very complete pitcher. Used to be more fastball, breaking ball. Now a lot more changeups and breaking balls.
Now Jimmy Rollins. Oh for 4 and a strikeout. Last year, the Brewers beat the Dodgers 5 out of 6. Right, 0-1 to Rollins.
What K-Rod does so well is he starts that off-speed pitch looking just like that last fastball, and the bottom just really falls right out of it.
And when he's got a delivery like that, any of these fellas who have the unusual or idiosyncratic deliveries, how difficult is it on you as a hitter? What do you look for? What do you try to filter out?
You know, I really just look for his release point, because no matter what, he can do all the stuff he wants with the delivery, but where is he releasing the ball and trying to pick it up right out of his hand?
0-2 to Rollins. Stays alive.
That's why you hear me talk so much about those pitchers that have good breaking balls, that the ball coming out of his hand looks just like a fastball. There's nothing different, where it doesn't pop up out of his hand for a breaking ball and it still stays on the same plane, because that's really what you focus on so much.
Rollins on 0-2. That's Elian Herrera, and that's 2 out. Well, they haven't had much to cheer about here in Milwaukee this year. Their Brewers 7-18. They fired their manager this morning. And yet the crowd is standing with 2 out, and Howie Kendrick, who is also 0 for 4. Former teammates, Kendrick and K-Rod. Kendrick gets aboard. Adrian Gonzalez, Craig Counsell. Grew up in Milwaukee, played with the Brewers. His first day on the job as the manager.
He may look calm, but inside he is churning away.
Kendrick, 2 balls, no strikes. Kendrick on the year, 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Three balls and no strikes.
2-0 count. K-Rod wanting to be careful in a dead fastball count. He wants to throw fastball to get a strike, but he didn't want to leave it over the middle of the plate. Took a shot at that outside corner, threw it too low. Chance to get the tying run over there to first base right here.
Taking all the way.
And we got the player of the month in the major leagues and the National League on deck. Howie just trying to get on, even though he's got home run power.
Three balls, one strike, two out. And now the count is full. Gonzalez, should he come to the plate, is 2 for 8 in his career against K-Rod. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. The Brewers with 3 in the bottom half of the 8th come from behind to beat the Dodgers. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Milwaukee. 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. And a broken bat leader turns out to be the Lexus play of the game. Ryan Braun, the bare hand, replay, beat it out. That's your ball game.
Chris Hatcher did everything he could. Juan Uribe did everything he could. Adrian Gonzalez stretched away, but it didn't work.
So the first of 7 games on the road, the Dodgers fall 4-3. Tomorrow, it'll be Greinke. So for Alana Rizzo, Oral Hershiser, no more Garcia Parra, Charlie Steiner saying good night and goodbye. Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan, coming up next.